I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there.
The man you just saw is the former bodyguard of rapper, music producer, and entertainer Sean Diddy Combs. And as you just heard, Diddy's parties were attended by not only celebrities, but also by politicians, princes, and even preachers. But most of us already know that. After all, the man has been pretty much on every single news channel for the past couple of months. Well, the reason I'm talking about it now is because it looks like everyone who had anything to do with Diddy is now coming out of the shadows and supporting Kamala Harris while calling this the most important election in American history. I'm sure many of you know that Beyonce endorsed Kamala during her Houston rally. In fact, Kamala Harris paid Beyonce $10 million for just 2 minutes of her time. $5 million per minute. That money would have helped over 13,000 people still dealing with the devastation of Hurricane Helene get a $750 relief check. In her very short endorsement speech, Beyonce had this to say.
I'm not here as a politician. I'm here as a mother who cares deeply about the world my children and all of our children live in. A world where we have the freedom to control our bodies. A world where we're not divided. Our past, our present, our future merge to meet us here. Imagine our daughters growing up seeing what's possible with no ceilings.
Now, it's kind of strange for Beyonce to talk about women's rights when she and her husband have apparently been main guests at Diddy's freak-off parties for years now. And if you're wondering what usually happened at these parties, well, here's a woman who claims to be a survivor of these parties. Let's hear what she has to say.
Diddy parties. Those are assault parties. And I was one of the kids that was one of the party favors. And a party favors means that you're set on top of a table and you're used as a toy for anybody who comes across the table or who wants to party at a certain time of night when the music stops and then the DJ starts flashing all these lights and they close the doors and then everybody turns into like a frenzy and starts going into a crazed animal-like demonic state and you have no idea what's going on. And yes, there was a time where I was just like completely don't give a shit because it happened, and I was the type of kid that thought that, you know, you're in the presence of royalty and they make it seem like you're in the presence of Hollywood, so you should be honored and you should be appreciating that you're there. And I was that person. I totally acted like that. I was like, oh, it's fine, you know, it really doesn't matter. But then it really did matter.
Now, I don't think you should talk about anyone's rights if you're attending some demonic parties, but that's just my opinion. What isn't my opinion, however, is the fact that Beyonce's husband, Jay-Z, has been friends with Diddy and been a regular at his parties for years now. Just look at this clip from 4 years ago.
It's 2020, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch.
Well, they sure as hell look like friends to me, but if you're still not sure about it, just watch this video of them collecting phones before the start of these alleged parties.
Jay-Z snitching people's phones at Diddy's party. I'm Prophet Muslim Jay-Z. You might be next, my kinga. The Bible says everything covered up will be soon exposed. And now Jay-Z's giving the phones to Diddy as he's walking away. And now Diddy's collecting the phones.
Excuse me, I need the phones, guys. I need your phones. I need your phones. I need your phones. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And Quincy, I know you have 2 phones, Quincy. Oh, there you go. That's what I love. Got all the phones.
Even French Montana gives his phone away.
Phone.
That's French Montana with the pink shirt. Wow, Diddy just said don't do that.
And if some of you still think that maybe it was only Jay-Z and his wife of 16 years who didn't know anything about these parties, well, my friends, you might want to see this clip.
I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020.
For reference, this is rapper DaBaby, who's explaining his very first meeting with Beyonce.
Putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room.
So yeah, Beyonce and her husband were apparently some of the few people who were allowed to stay in the room for those special events. And now she's on stage taking pictures with Kamala Harris and endorsing her campaign at a time when she's losing support from the black community every single day, as you can see from this New York Times poll. But Beyonce isn't the only celebrity who's recently come out in support of Kamala Harris and who's been associated with Diddy and his world-famous parties. Leonardo DiCaprio also endorsed her recently through this video message.
Earlier this month, Hurricanes Helene and Milton devastated parts of Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina. Families lost homes, livelihoods, and loved ones to some of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes ever recorded. These storms have done an estimated $100 billion in damage, and make no mistake, these unnatural disasters were caused by climate change. Donald Trump continues to deny the facts. He continues to deny the science. He withdrew the United States from the Paris Climate Accords and rolled back critical environmental protections. Now he's promised the oil and gas industry that he'll get rid of any regulation they want in exchange for $1 billion donation. Climate change is killing the earth and ruining our economy. We need a bold step forward to save our economy, our planet, and ourselves. That's why I'm voting for Kamala Harris. She helped lead the most significant climate action in U.S. history, including passing the Inflation Reduction Act. Under her leadership, we set ambitious targets for achieving net zero emissions by 2050 and building a green economy that not only creates jobs, but also helps save our planet. So check your registration at iwillvote.com and join me in voting for Kamala Harris on November 5th, because we cannot afford to go backwards.
Apparently, Leo was one of Diddy's favorite guests, and you don't have to take my word for it. Take a look.
And I'm sure that's probably not public information yet, but who's the person that's number one on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I can get on that list,
Yes,
right?
without a doubt, you are invited.
That is so generous of you. Cheers to that.
See you at the white party.
Now, White Parties was a name given to some very special parties hosted by P. Diddy between 1998 and 2009. The 2006 party was held in Saint-Tropez in the south of France, and the last party was in Beverly Hills, California. The White Parties typically began during the day and lasted until the very early morning hours of the next day. The parties were often sponsored by prominent brands who gave away merchandise. And individual lawsuits have alleged that Diddy sexually assaulted several individuals at his white parties, including a 16-year-old boy, a male bodyguard, and a female dancer over the course of several years. The famous jeweler known as Jacob the Jeweler was named alongside Combs by the dancer in her lawsuit. And these are only some of the people who were apparently frequenting these freak-out parties. I mean, here's a clip of Diddy himself talking about the people he wanted to invite for his 53rd birthday party.
Great. Oprah. J-Lo. A-Rod. Will Smith. Alicia Keys. Justin Bieber. Kevin Hart. Mark Wahlberg. Snoop. DJ Khaled. Usher.
Now, I'm certainly not saying everyone on this list has been involved in disgusting things that Diddy's being accused of, but it is shocking how many of these people are now openly endorsing Kamala as if their lives depend on it. Just look at Usher. This is what he had to say right after the debate between Kamala and Trump.
I always say that in this emergency that we're in, I think that behooves artists to come out and speak for Kamala against Donald Trump, because he is an existential threat to the country. What do you say to that?
You know what? I don't get too deep into politics. I didn't get a chance to watch the debate last night. I obviously have been watching like everybody else. I think voting is an individual choice.
As you can see, he has no interest in endorsing anyone, and he clearly wants to stay out of politics. Well, it only took him 5 weeks to change his stance because he ended up following Eminem and endorsed Kamala.
I love you more, but I love Kamala Harris even more. I want her to be our next president of the United States. And we can do it but we're gonna do it together.
And you're telling me this is normal? Luckily, people are not as naive as these evil men think. More and more celebrities and influencers are starting to talk about just how bizarre the whole Diddy situation really is. Just hear what former NBA player Kwame Brown had to say about all of this.
Said anything about this video that you can clearly see somebody, I don't know if it's P. Diddy, you see a man dragging a woman up the hall, throwing vases at her and shit, and nobody says nothing until now? And you want me to think that P. Diddy is just a sick when nobody said nothing? This woman is cowering on the floor, balling up, getting stumped out, and somebody saw that on the video, and the only time you're going to say something about it is when Cassie give a lawsuit? This and telling the black community to vote or die, because he's a Democrat con, and that's why he was able to goddamn run around here like that. A Democrat boy that beat up women and do all this gay, well, I ain't gonna go that far, do all this punk, and now everybody's supposed to be scared of him because he can hire somebody else. Has been following this man, protecting this man. You guys are sick.
And what's crazy is that actors aren't even the only ones who might get in trouble if Diddy's tapes ever come out to the public.
And how convenient is it that the head of everything gets put in jail and all the little small heads behind him starting to get out too about what they was doing at them parties? And allegedly, the list has gotten longer of all the people that attended those so-called freak-offs. And if y'all haven't noticed, there's a lot of CEOs and business owners and pastors that are stepping down from their positions.
Well, she's not wrong about these CEO resignations. Many industry heads suddenly resigned only days after Diddy's arrest, and this list includes Nike's CEO John Donahoe, Warner Music Japan CEO Kaz Kobayashi, Sony Music Nashville CEO Randy Goodman, and David Gubert, who's the CEO of cannabis operator Air Wellness. I guess it's not a surprise why most Fortune 500 companies are giving away more money to Kamala Harris as compared to Donald Trump, as you can see from this chart. And this doesn't even include the $50 million Bill Gates just gave to Kamala. Now, of course, the Trump camp has also noticed this, and that's why comedian Tony Hinchcliffe didn't hold back any punches while speaking at the Trump rally.
I don't know about you guys, but I think that Travis Kelce might be the next O.J. Simpson. Feels good in here. The other side's got a lot of crazy endorsements. Swift, Eminem, Leo DiCaprio, Beyonce. Every day the Democratic Party looks more and more like a P. Diddy party. Oh, okay. Hillary Clinton said that this is a Nazi rally here today. Can you believe that? For the most anti-war president of my entire lifetime, and she calls him Hitler. Let me remind you, Hillary, it was your husband who shot innocent people, or as he called them, interns. Yeah, Hillary, I bet you did not see that one coming. By the way, if I commit suicide in 3 weeks, I didn't. I mean, it's just obvious to me who the right candidate is. There's a guy out here dodging bullets. It is unbelievable, right?
Tony's also been trending all over social media after saying that Puerto Rico is literally a floating island of garbage.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Now, once again, I am not saying any of these people were involved in Diddy's criminal activities. I'm only asking a question here. Why everyone who had anything to do with Diddy is now all of a sudden supporting Kamala Harris? If you have any answers to these questions, feel free to share them in the comments section down below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so now, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.